Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and I want to introduce you to something that I'm calling the pedal of disappointment. And that's not a criticism of the device, but more of what it's going to be used for. This is an Elgato foot pedal, a Stream Deck pedal, split into three parts. So it's actually three pedals in one, and interesting in a number of different ways, because it also can double as a footrest. I have one specific use for this that I want to talk about, an idea that came to me in thinking about this pedal and what it could be used for. Now, obviously, as a Stream Deck pedal means that you can essentially assign it loads of different potential use cases. All sorts of things could be programmed into here. You could like press that button and turn on your Philips Hue lights, for example. But I have one specific use where I essentially want to use it, two buttons to change between scenes in OBS. The reason being is I thought it might be fun to make some highlights for my stream clips or for my gameplay clips, which essentially show my disappointed face. Now, I want to talk about why this is interesting and how you can use it and the other things. I purchased this pedal myself because I wanted to demonstrate just the potential of it in a silly little way. Now, I think that obviously you could potentially use a Stream Deck itself for what I'm using this pedal for, but what I wanted to do was to keep something that was sort of hands-free and focus on being able to use other parts of my body. The Stream Deck pedal comes in a simple little box that you can see here, and is fairly straightforward to set up. It's plug and play, basically. Essentially, it works really well if you're already ingrained in the Elgato lifestyle, obviously with the Stream Deck software installed. But even if you aren't, don't worry, because it's fairly straightforward. You just need to download the software, plug and play, and then goes through some setup. What's interesting is that it also has a number of springs included in the box. You can see them here, and as well as these stoppers. Now, the springs mean that you can adjust the tension of each of the pedals, and the little stoppers mean that you can actually turn the middle one basically into a static device so that you can then use it as a footrest. Now, I will say, as you can see, it's not that big. You'll see in the clip already at the beginning, and you can see it here. It's not terribly large, so I don't think it really works very well as a footrest, if I'm honest. But I won't be using it for that, so it's not a problem. But I just say, unless you've got really tiny feet, I don't think you'll be using it as a footrest. But the fact that you have that adjustability makes it pretty nice. I'm not going to show that because I wanted to use it as standard out of the box. And to be honest, for me, it works perfectly well. It's got some good tension to it. Now, obviously, you could buy a really affordable USB pedal. You can get some for about 20 quid on Amazon. This thing costs about £60 sterling, so it's a bit more expensive. But you can see that you've got some other highlights to it. Good, solid build quality. It feels really nice, and also has some good action on those pedals and the adjustability of it as well and tweakability, but simple. And that's what I wanted, something simple. So this is what I'm planning on using it for. Now, these are some clips from my gameplay channel, the Provoked Prawn Pews. If you're not already subscribed, head over there and subscribe to that channel. It'll really help me out. But essentially what we're doing with this is I'm going to use this pedal to switch between two different scenes. So you can see here I've got a standard scene where you can see me in the corner of the screen. And then what I want to be able to do is essentially when something funny happens or disappointing, I can press that pedal and switch into the other view so that you get a nice view of my face and a fuller look at it. And essentially then I can react to what's just happened in an amusing way, whether that's showing disappointment on my death, my teammates doing silly things, or something else. And essentially I just thought it'd be amusing to be able to use this. Now, I could obviously use a standard Stream Deck for this purpose, and you have loads of different buttons. I did the Stream Deck Plus as an example. You could potentially just use that. There's loads of buttons and dials on there. You just reach out and press those. The thing with that is that means I'm then taking my hands off the keyboard or your mouse to press those buttons. And what I didn't want to do was do that, because if you're in the middle of a fighting still, you need to be able to be ready for action, to be able to shoot enemies, to move, or to do whatever else. And so I really didn't want to take my hands off. The other thing is, to be honest, my brain sometimes struggles with all those sorts of thoughts about what's going on your keyboard fingers, your mouse hand, and what's going on the stream and what's going on in the game. So somehow having a pedal that you can just press with your foot requires very little thought, and only three buttons potentially here that you could program. I've actually only got two programmed at the minute, but obviously you have a lot more potential in here, because there's all sorts of things you could do with multi-actions and all sorts of other actions available within the Stream Deck software that you could set up. You can do loads of different things with it. I've chosen to do this, but maybe I could have another button that just does a replay buffer, so captures clips, for example, and then one for switching scenes. And you could have multi-action to start your stream or change your lighting or play GIFs or something on there. So you have loads of potential here. Also pretty affordable by comparison to some of the other things. I said it's a bit more expensive than the cheaper options out there, but nice solid build quality and flexibility of it. And obviously Elgato Stream Deck software is really powerful. So I'm just going to dive into that now and show you the setup process for this, because it's ridiculously easy, and some of the highlights of it too. So here we are in the Stream Deck software, and this is ridiculously easy. You can see that I have the 3 options here in the middle, and basically I'm not even using the one on the right, but you've got the usual setup process here, so you can go through, you can see there's loads of different options in here potentially. We've got multi-actions, as I was saying. You can set up things in OBS Studio, control your nanoleaf lights, for example, look at stuff in Streamlabs, you've got Twitch, whatever else. So you've got plenty of different options in here, but the setup for me is really straightforward and pretty basic, because what we're doing is we're just basically clicking in here and setting one scene or another. So what I've chosen to do, for example, is to find the OBS option. You see OBS, find the scene, drag it in, and then switch to that relevant scene. So you can see that I have the disappointment camera, for example, down here, and then use this for games is my main one. So you can basically just switch between those really easily. So show you what that looks like in OBS. So this is the disappointment camera, which is in the wrong place because I'm usually sitting. And then if I press that button, so let me just bring the pedal back up. So if I then switch to pressing that right hand one, it switches into the game position. So you can see what that'll be. And then back to the disappointment camera and then back again. So obviously hands free switching between those scenes means you can just create that wizardry with ease and keep those hands free for doing the important stuff. Really straightforward and really basic, easy setup. Obviously, a lot more options potentially of what you could do with your disappointment pedal, but that's what I'm doing. Let me know in the comments what you would use your pedal for. Thanks for watching. You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful. And most importantly, have a great life.